Uh, Hi, everyone. We're reading chapter 47. So, in chapter 46, I know we started a little bit early today. We talked a lot about genealogies and stuff that are all in Egypt, and we saw kind of this really heartwarming connection between uh, Israel or Jacob with Joseph, his son, after a long, many years, probably more than a decade of not seeing each other. And having peace. So now we are going to read our last chapter for today. Chapter 47. Bereshit, Genesis chapter 47. Joseph came and told Pharaoh, and he said, "My father and my brothers and their flocks and their cattle and all that is theirs have come from the land of Canaan. And behold, they are in the land of Goshen." And from among his brothers he took 5 men, and he presented them before Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to his brothers, "What is your occupation?" And they said to Pharaoh, "Your servants are shepherds, both we and our forefathers." And they said to Pharaoh, "We have come to sojourn in the land, for your servants' flocks have no pasture, for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. Now, please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen." And Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, "Your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Egypt is before you. And the best of the land settle your father and your brothers. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if you know that there are capable men among them, make them livestock officers over what is mine." So Joseph brought his father Jacob and stood him before the Pharaoh, and Jacob greeted the Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh said to Jacob, "How many are the days of years of your life?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The days of the years of my sojourning are 130 years. The days of the years of my life have been few and miserable, and they have not reached the days of the years of the lives of my forefathers in the days of their sojournings." So Jacob blessed Pharaoh and left Pharaoh's presence. Joseph settled his father and his brothers and gave them property in the land of Egypt, the best of the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had mandated. And Joseph sustained his father and his brothers and his father's entire household, bread according to the young children. Now there was no food in the entire land, for famine had grown exceedingly severe, and the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan were exhausted because of the famine. And Joseph collected all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan with the grain that they were buying. And Joseph brought the money to Pharaoh's house. Now the money was depleted from the land of Egypt and from the land of Canaan. And all the Egyptians came to Joseph, saying, "Give us food. We should. Why should we die in your presence, since the money has been used up?" And Joseph said, "Give your livestock, and I will give you for your livestock, if the money has been used up." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them food for their horses and for their livestock, in flocks and in cattle and in donkeys, and he provided them with food for all their livestock in that year. That year ended, and they came to him in the second year, and they said to him, "We will not hide from my lord, for so for in so far as much as the money and the property and animals have been forfeited to my lord, nothing remains before my lord except our bodies and our farmland. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our farmland? Buy us and our farmland for food, so that we and our farmland will be slaves to Pharaoh, and give seed, so that we live and not die, and the soil will not lie fallow." So Joseph bought all the farmland of the Egyptians for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold each one of his fields for the famine, and had become too strong for them, and the land became Pharaoh's. and he transferred the population to the cities. Oops. Sorry about that. Um, okay, we'll start from 20. So Joseph bought all the farmland of the Egyptians for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold each one his field, for the famine had become too strong for them, and the land became Pharaoh's. And he transferred the populace to the cities, from end of the boundary of Egypt to its other end. Only the farmland of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had an allotment from Pharaoh, and they ate their allotment that Pharaoh had given them. Therefore they did not sell their farmland. Joseph said to the people, "Behold, I have bought you and your farmland today for Pharaoh. Behold, you have seed, so sow the soil. And it shall be concerning the crops that you shall give a fifth to Pharaoh, and the four parts shall be yours. For the seed, for field, for your food, for those in your houses, and for your young children to eat." They replied, "You have saved our lives. Let us find favor in my Lord's eyes, and we will be slaves to Pharaoh." So Joseph made a statute to this day concerning the farmland of Egypt. For the 1/5, only the farmland of the priests alone did not become Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the land of Goshen, and they acquired property in it. And they were prolific and multiplied greatly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt for 17 years. And Jacob's days, the years of his life, were 147. When the time drew near for Israel to die, he called his son Joseph and said to him, "If I have now found favor in your eyes, now place your hand beneath my thigh, and you shall deal with me with loving kindness and truth. Do not bury me now in Egypt. I will lie with my forefathers, and you shall carry me out of Egypt, and you shall bury me in their grave." And he said, "I will do as you say." And he said, "Swear to me." So he swore to him, and Israel prostrated himself on the head of the bed. The end. Yes, so that is our reading for today. Well, thank you for coming and joining. We will read tomorrow. This was a very powerful adventure, and thank you so much for joining. All right, we will